So after Turki came out with the bizarre rule to ban running in the sport of boxing, on the same day he announced Canelo versus Crawford, well, ironically, Turki favorite fighter, the undisputed pound-for-pound #1 king in the sport, Terence Crawford, a casual fan came out stating exactly what Turki was saying. He accused Crawford, though, that he's going to be running against Canelo Alvarez. Here is exactly how the pound-for-pound king Crawford responded to this fan that was bringing up Turki talking point of banning running in the sport of boxing. Check it out.
He's gonna run. see, that's why he don't know much about boxing. What is boxing? Where you at? Where you at? Come here. Where you at? Let me see. What is it? No, that's not fighting. Fighting ain't even in the definition of boxing. What is boxing? Hit and not get hit. It's a sign. Okay, so tell me this. No, I'm gonna support my little brother.
Of course you are.
Okay, so what's easier? Me standing in front of you, going blow for blow, or me hitting you and making sure that you can't hit me? What's harder?
Well, moving, hit and run.
Huh?
Hit and run.
Okay, so if that's harder, then what's so bad?
But that you did to win the fight, not running around.
No, it's harder, right?
Look,
it's harder for me to hit you.
Devin Haney, look at Devin Haney.
It's harder for me to hit you. It's harder for me to hit you, and you not hit me back, right? But it's easier for me to sit here and anybody can do this, sit here and fight, right?
Yeah, but
right?
Can anybody? But it's a fighting game.
Answer the question. It's not a fighting game. It's not a fighting game. It's not a fighting game.
We want to watch the fight, not
that's what you want to do.
But everybody wants to do it.
But you want to watch UFC.
No, I don't want to watch it.
Okay, so you want to watch bare knuckle boxing.
No, none of that.
You don't want to watch boxing.
Of course I do.
No, you want to watch street fighting.
No.
Okay, so when Ali say flow like a butterfly, sting like a bee, what that mean?
Yeah, but he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He kept running in circles.
No, what do that mean?
Let's make one thing clear. Crawford never ran in a fight. Actually, the running word is a code word for these race fans. Because when their favorite fighter loses, to make themselves feel better, what they say, oh, but Floyd Mayweather was running against Canelo. Floyd ran against Marquez. Floyd ran against Manny Pacquiao. Floyd ran against Sugar Shane Mosley. He ran against everybody. To them, running is moving your freaking head. To them, running is a guy like Floyd standing right in front of you and moving his head, making them miss and making them pay. They call that style of fighting running because their favorite fighter always loses to fighters like that, aka the coincidentalist fighters, aka the fighters who have the complexion for the neglection. Let it be Lomachenko. All of a sudden, it goes from running to the Matrix. Remember when Devin Haney fought Lomachenko, was he running? We all know for a fact when Devin Haney beat Regis, Lomachenko, Jojo Diaz, Linares, etc., he wasn't running. He was standing right in front of them. Devin only had one bad performance after he got cheated against Ramirez. All of a sudden, everyone is calling him boring. But they've been calling him boring, pillow-fisted, etc., from day one. Why is that? It's because they always change the rules. They always change the standards when it comes to the fighters on the coincidental list. You will never hear them say Lomachenko is boring because he was running from Teofimo Lopez and that's how he lost the fight. You will never hear them say Tyson Fury is boring the way he beat Klitschko. But when you turn around and ask these same fans who call Floyd, Roy Jones, Crawford, Devin Haney, Shakur, and any fighter on the coincidental list boring, if you ask them, was Muhammad Ali running? Was he boring? They're going to say, no, Muhammad Ali, he wasn't. I love Muhammad Ali. All of a sudden, they love Muhammad Ali, but they hate every style of fighter like him today. That's not a coincidence. That's a freaking lie. Because when Muhammad Ali was around, when he was still alive, he was the most hated man in the world. But when he's dead, when he's no longer a threat, now they love him. But when he was around kicking ass, they all hated him. And that's a fact. So, since Turkey banned running in the sport of boxing, let's apply the no running rule on Muhammad Ali, for example. When Muhammad Ali fought Sonny Liston, the Mike Tyson of his time, do you guys know that Muhammad Ali was quote unquote running around the ring, and he ended up knocking out Sonny Liston not once, but twice. The first time he did it in the 8th round while running around. The second time he did it in the 1st round while running around. I call that dancing. You guys want to call it running. So how is it the runner, Muhammad Ali, knocked out the bull in Sonny Liston, the Mike Tyson of his time? How did that happen? If you take the ability that allows fighters to move around, then most likely Muhammad Ali would have had lost to Sonny Liston. What's funny about that, Turkey wants to attribute running to the fights being boring inside of the ring. But when Muhammad Ali was running around the ring against Frazier in the first fight and the third fight, those were two of the greatest fights of all time, entertainment-wise. How is that possible? Meanwhile, fighters that didn't run in the ring, Ryan versus Rolly, that was one of the most boring fights of all time, and they were standing right in front of each other. Which is why the key shouldn't be not running around the ring. The key should be not letting your hands run, not letting your hands fly to your opponent. That's what the rule should be, which is already in place. Obviously, the fighter who throws and lands more punches is most likely the fighter that's going to win the fight. Therefore, the structure is already there. You see, the fan that was talking to Crawford crazy, that guy who Crawford told him you don't know shit about boxing, respectfully, how come that fight fan who only wants to see fights instead of boxing matches doesn't watch other sports that provide that, but instead he comes to the sport of boxing to give him what he needs? That doesn't make sense. Crawford told him, watch the UFC, watch bare knuckle. They don't allow running. But he said, nah, he only wants to watch boxing, which makes him a hypocrite in that situation. You want to force your own rules on others? Now think about that. You're not the one in the ring fighting. The name of the game is hit and not get hit. You can't ban defense in the NBA or the NFL, but they want to do that in boxing. They want to handicap certain fighters who have the athleticism over other fighters, all in the cause to create more hopeless fighters. Another great point Crawford brought up, which is harder to do? I stand in front of you, hit you, and you hit me, or I hit you and you don't hit me? Which one is harder to do? And the fan obviously said, oh, well, it's the one where you hit me and I can't hit you. But he said, no, that's boring. I want to hit you. You see, now that's becoming emotional hatred. He wants to see the fighter he doesn't like get hit. That's a difference. If his favorite fighter was hitting and not getting hit, he doesn't care. He will call that the Matrix. That's a race fan right there. For the people that watch Dragon Ball, in the Tournament of Power, when Goku went Ultra Instinct to break his limit to beat Jiren, no one complained that Ultra Instinct, he's ducking, he's boring. We want to see a fight. We want to see exchanges. Everyone loved seeing Goku dodge all of Jiren attacks and hitting him in return where Jiren cannot hit him. No one said, oh, nah, that's boring. Everyone cheered it because everyone wanted Goku to win. Now, if the fans hated Goku and they wanted Jiren to win, they will say that, which is exactly what this race fan was doing. We all know what time it is. You see, running does not equal boring, and not running does not equal entertainment. And I can prove that. Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston, Muhammad Ali versus Frazier, the first fight and the last fight. When he ran, all of them fights are some of the most entertaining fights of all time. However, the fighters who didn't run, Ryan versus Rowley, Teofimo Lopez versus Barboza, them fights were equally boring as Devin Haney versus Ramirez, who was running around the ring. Why is that? It's due to the fact Devin Haney threw more punches and landed more punches than Ryan and Rowley did. That's why. Just like Teofimo Lopez's fight, it was a slow pace. It doesn't matter if a fighter is moving or standing right there. The common denominator is if the fighter is not letting his hands go, then the fight is going to be boring. That's it. That's all. So if you're going to invent no running rule, it should be the fighter who moves around the ring without throwing punches for a minute or two. And likewise for the aggressive fighter, you can't leave him out. He needs to know how to cut off the ring. He also needs to let his hands fly. If I'm an aggressive fighter, there is no point of me going forward, applying pressure without letting my hands fly. Because that's the same thing as the fighter who moves around without letting his hands fly. If I corner my opponent and I allow him to escape freely from the corner or the ropes without letting my hands fly, that should be points against me. That's exactly what Canelo Alvarez did against Skull, and that's exactly what Ramirez did against Devin Haney, etc., etc., etc. Even Manny Pacquiao when he fought Floyd. He's talking about Floyd was running, but when he had Floyd in the corner, Pacquiao would literally step off. He will back off from having Floyd in the corner. Wait a minute, how is Pacquiao going to complain about Floyd running? But when he had him in the corner multiple times, he allowed him to escape. Matter of fact, it was Pacquiao who walked off and backed down from Floyd because he was worried about running to a counter. And that's what I'm talking about. When a fighter does that as the aggressive fighter, you take off points. If he allows him to escape the corner without letting his hands go, you take points away. So it goes both ways to the aggressor, the bull, and the matador, the fighter that's moving around, running around, dancing around, whatever you want to call it. So you have to be fair both ways. Talking about Turkey, the old media fighters who fans say that they are entertaining, like Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya, this, that, and the third, those guys were running too. Pacquiao versus Rios and Margarito, Oscar versus Trinidad, Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin, the first fight, etc., etc., etc. I can go on all day, but you guys get the point. With that being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.